Sam Wilson, the soldier, the friend, the ultimate wingman. Introduced back during the prime Marvel years and quite possibly their best film, Captain America, The Winter Soldier, Sam was the perfect balance of the competence and the comedic.
You should be ashamed of yourself. You should take another lap. Did you just take it? I assume you just took it.
But after going through a couple wars of being the Robin to Steve's Catman, the powers that be decided that Sam would be next in line to carry on the legacy of the Sentinel of Liberty. While I loved watching him, I never thought there was a lot to him as a character on the page. And by page, I mean script. I know there's plenty of stories in the comics where Sam is doing his own thing. But could he hold my interest in this without Steve Rogers? A couple of years later, I would get my answer with The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Now, if I were to describe this show in 2 words, it would be wasted potential. The show posed an interesting question. What if half the human population was snapped out of existence, only to be snapped back 5 years later? All their homes now occupied by other people, all their lives ostensibly forced to reset as the world has understandably moved on without them. How would Sam help to deal with the social unrest as society struggles to reintegrate half the globe's populace? What positions would Sam take in the debate over what to do? Well, we discovered after 6 episodes that Sam believes that terrorists are people too, and that you should have more sympathy for them and try to empathize.
There were still people in there.
This is the only language these people understand.
You have to stop calling them terrorists. This girl died trying to stop you. And no one has stopped for 1 second to ask why.
Get out of here.
You've got to do better, Senator. You've got to step up. Because if you don't, the next Carly will.
We also learned that Sam is black.
No way! I'm a black man carrying the stars and stripes.
Hey, it's Black Falcon!
It's just
up,
Falcon, kid.
No. My daddy told me it's Black Falcon.
What you want, Black Falcon?
Hell yeah! That's the Black Falcon!
You know, I got it. I got the concept.
And that America would never accept him despite the public only ever actively cheering for him. Just a heads up to all you up-and-coming writers out there. Black is not a personality. A character's race should inform their life experience, but not be used to fill in all the blanks. And as much as I like characters like Miles Morales in the Spider-Verse movies, the writers picked all the most obvious markers to fill out his character. Loves to do graffiti, listens to hip-hop, and sports a clean pair of Nikes.
The way he leaps off of rooftops and flips backwards to face the camera before falling into a headfirst dive is just full of the exaggerated swagger of a black teen.
He's out of line, but he's right.
I spent 6 episodes learning very little about Sam in addition to what we already knew. Somehow, in a black-led show created by black writers, the most interesting characters were ironically white. John Walker easily gets the most interesting character arc, along with the show's most iconic scene. And this scene where Bucky is getting deprogrammed was easily the most moving.
Cruzavoj Vako. You are free. You are free.
Heck, even Baron Zemo got a meme. But all I remember from Sam is,
You've got to do better, Senator. You've got to step up.
and now he's got a whole movie to fill with something. All right, let's get into it. Captain America Brave New World is a movie. Not a bad movie, but not a good movie. Just a movie. Directed by Julius Ona and written by, well, a lot of people. Captain America 4 suffers from the 99% of movies that have way too many cooks in the kitchen. Now add in a bunch of reshoots and retouching, and we have ourselves a relatively safe and inoffensive Frankenstein's monster. The basic plot summary is, well, in the trailer. Tuskegee experiment Captain America Isaiah Bradley is Winter Soldiered into an attempted assassination of the president, now played by Harrison Ford. Sam Wilson, aka the new Captain America, now goes on an investigation to clear Isaiah's name, and in the attempt, discovers a bigger plot that may lead to a new world war. To start things off, this movie feels reactionary to its predecessor, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Instead of giving us overly simplistic answers to complex geopolitical questions, this film gave us the zero-calorie version of Captain America the Winter Soldier. But if it was a Hulk movie, now if you're a comic fan, you know that a lot of New Legacy characters suffer from having a subpar to non-existent rogues gallery. So they more often than not end up fighting someone else's villains. But all that aside, it could have been forgiven if they could nail three things: good writing, good acting, and of course, good.
Wait for it.
Unfortunately, this movie only has one of these. The acting for the most part is pretty good, minus a moment where the main villain lets out a scream that reminded me of Spawn. The action I'd give a B- with a few A- moments. Those A- moments mostly involving Red Hulk. The hand-to-hand stuff feels both sluggish and rushed at the same time. Sluggish because they hold positions just a hair too long in between punches, making the choreography stand out too much as choreography. Now I know it's all fake, but the true magic of film is making me forget for a few moments. Also, and this is my biggest problem, Sam does and endures a lot of stuff for a guy that everyone constantly reminds us is not a super soldier. He survives the Hulk fight without a single broken bone, but gets a rib broken by just some guy.
I heard your rib go. You need a minute?
Nope, let's get this over with.
There's also this scene where his sidekick, aka the new Falcon, just lets a bad guy get away. Notice that he shoots the wheels on this bike, causing the middle guy to fall. Now the second rider just hits a random rock and falls over. However, the third cyclist just drives off the screen, getting away entirely.
Damn, I was hoping you wouldn't catch that.
The only time things felt difficult was in the Hulk fight. Watching him get chased across DC was by far the best action the film had to offer. There's also a kinda cool aerial battle with fighter jets over the Indian Ocean, but a lot of the tone was ruined by misplaced music. We live in a post-Top Gun Maverick world now, so if you can't at least raise the bar, I at the very least expect you to be able to grab it. Now for the worst aspect of the movie, and that is the writing. The amount of Netflix speak was almost over 9,000. And for those of you not in the know, Netflix speak is dialogue that's meant to be absorbed while you're doing something else. So many things were repeated or over-explained, taking away any need for your complete focus. A character would point out that another character was trained the same way Black Widow was, only to make the same point 20 minutes later. Or Sam would do some cool vibranium blast with his wings, only to have some army guy ask,
"How the hell did he just do that?"
The new Falcon would happily explain,
Cap's gear was a gift from the Wakandans for helping him out. I heard even the rat.
You know, I know.
As for our main character, what is there to say? No, really, what is there to say about Sam Wilson? This guy has had a 6-episode miniseries as well as his own movie, and yet they still can't come up with anything interesting for this character. The writers gave him no flaws, no hardships, no real dramatic moments, but the problem with Sam actually starts back in 2014 with The Winter Soldier. Unlike the character in the comic books, MCU Wilson is not a social worker, or a lover of birds, or a man who lost his parents to gang violence. He's just a good guy that happens to be a veteran and a pilot. In Captain America Civil War, he didn't have a personal reason for opposing the Sokovia Accords. He just took whatever side Captain America was on. Sam has no real ideology because he wasn't designed to be a main character in the MCU. You can't just have the guy get rejected for a loan because of racism and call that character building. And the movie never shows what Sam does on the average day when he's not saving the world. So he never really feels like a character that exists outside of the job. And because of the whole DEI rollback, I think Marvel is afraid to give him any opinions, popular or not, for fear that it may hurt their currently declining bottom line. However, there is this moment at the end where Sam gives a little lip service to his feelings on having to be perfect so the next black man can succeed, which is an element they should have introduced at the beginning of the movie and not the last 5 minutes. The director, Julius Onah, actually tackled the subject of black exceptionalism in his previous film, Loose, a movie I highly recommend, by the way. That movie's execution of subtle doublespeak and code switching could have translated perfectly into a political action thriller like Captain America 4. Unfortunately, none of what Julius excels at made it into the film, leaving us with another flavorless paint-by-numbers Marvel film. Like I said earlier, this movie is empty calories. I wasn't bored, but I wasn't entertained either. They treated the character as if he had no source material, and then came up with,
I'm a black man carrying the Stars and Stripes.
and made him the star of a sequel to someone else's movie. Now I hope Marvel really knocks it out of the park with Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, because a return to form, this film is not. Also, whoever thought that the leader should look like this in live action needs to be
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. I'm blickety black, blacker than black, black, I'm blacker than black, yo, because I'm black and I'm black.